Have you ever stopped to think about what it really means to live as a Muslim? Beyond the really important rituals like prayer and fasting.
Mm-hmm.
What's that deeper thing maybe that shapes like every single interaction you have?
Yeah, it's a great question.
So today we're doing a deep dive into something absolutely fundamental, which, basically means character and manners.
Right.
And we're basing this whole exploration on a really helpful guide, The Prophet's Path, a guide to noble manners, akhlaq, for Muslim youth.
And it's fascinating, isn't it? Because in Islam, your faith isn't just some internal thing you keep to yourself.
No, exactly.
It's how that belief shows up in your actions, your words, how you deal with people.
So it's like reflecting Allah's attributes, mercy, patience, that sort of thing.
Precisely. Attributes like mercy, patience, justice, generosity showing up right there in your daily life. It's belief in action, really.
And when we talk about belief in action, I mean, the ultimate example, the perfect example for everyone is Prophet Muhammad, and peace be upon him.
Absolutely.
He actually said, and this quote always gets me, "I have only been sent to perfect good manners."
Powerful, isn't it?
Yeah, his whole life was basically a living example of akhlaq. I mean, people knew him as the most truthful, generous, humble, kind person, even showing mercy to people who treated him badly.
So our mission today, really, is to give you a kind of shortcut to understanding these timeless principles.
Right.
And we're not going to treat them like some dry list of rules you have to memorize.
No, definitely not.
It's more about getting the spirit behind them, understanding how they can genuinely, transform you, make you a better person, a stronger Muslim, and, well, a positive force in your community.
That sounds like a really worthwhile journey. Okay, so where do we start? Maybe with something foundational to, like, all relationships.
Makes sense?
Imagine living in a world where everyone, always told the truth and always kept their promises. Sounds pretty good, doesn't it?
It really does.
Well, that's the kind of world Islam encourages us to build, starting with ourselves. So let's dive into the power of truth, honesty, and trustworthiness.
Okay, yeah. So, the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, he was famously known as al-Siddiq the Truthful.
Mm-hmm.
And this was even before he received prophethood. People just knew him that way. They trusted him completely.
Right.
There's this really powerful story that shows this. When he first started calling his people to Islam, he gathered them and asked something like, if I told you there was an enemy cavalry just over there in the valley about to attack, would you believe me?
Wow. What did they say?
Their response, altogether, no hesitation, was basically, yes, because we've never known you to tell anything but the truth.
Even the people who later opposed him.
Exactly. That level of trust, even from future opponents, it just speaks volumes about his honesty, his sidq.
That really hits home. But, okay, thinking about today, for a young person maybe facing social pressures, what happens when telling the truth feels, risky? Like it might make things awkward with friends or put you into a tough spot.
Yeah, that's a really important point.
How do you navigate that, especially with the teaching that truthfulness leads to righteousness and righteousness leads to paradise?
Well, truthfulness, it isn't always the easy path, you're right. It's not just about, avoiding the big lies. It's deeper. It's about making sure your inner self matches your outer words and actions.
Okay. Alignment.
Exactly. And what's really transformative about it, I think, is how it frees you. It lifts this huge mental and emotional weight of keeping track of lies or pretending.
Ah, I see. Like less mental clutter.
Totally. Imagine that peace you feel when your words, actions, and what's inside are all lined up. That consistency builds trust with others, sure, but it also builds this solid inner integrity, a kind of spiritual clarity. You can move through life without that burden of falsehood.
Right.
The Quran even says in Surah Al-Ma'idah, this is the day when the truthful will benefit from their truthfulness. That benefit starts inside you.
Okay, so it's an internal freedom as much as an external perception.
Yeah.
Got it. And then beyond just speaking truth, there's trustworthiness, being reliable, keeping your word.
Fulfilling commitments, protecting what people entrust to you.
The Prophet, peace be upon him, was apparently so trustworthy that even his, bitterest enemies, the ones persecuting him, still left their valuables with him for safekeeping.
It's incredible, isn't it? That level of trust, even from people actively opposing him?
Yeah. So how does that apply to, everyday life for someone listening?
Well, think about it. Can your parents rely on you to do your chores without nagging?
Okay. Good point.
Do your teachers trust you'll get your assignments done? Do your friends know they can count on you if they tell you something in confidence or if you promise to be somewhere?
Right. It's about dependability.
Exactly. Being trustworthy means people can genuinely depend on you. And that quality, it helps you earn respect, succeed in things, because people know your word means something. It builds a reputation.
Okay, so truth and trust are the foundation. How do we then build on that? How do we connect with others? It's not just about being honest, right? It's the way we interact,
Absolutely.
the whole approach.
Which brings us to the gentle touch, kindness and compassion. Islam is known as a religion of mercy, and the Prophet, peace be upon him, really seemed to live that.
He really did. He taught us kindness does not enter anything except that it beautifies it. And it's not removed from anything except that it disgraces it.
Beautifies it. I like that.
Yeah. It's not
And-
just about being, nice. It's a fundamental way of being that actually elevates every interaction, makes it better. He was incredibly gentle, never harsh.
Is there a specific example?
Well, there's a lovely anecdote about him lowering a water pot several times so a thirsty cat could drink. It shows his mercy wasn't just for humans, it extended to all creatures. That's beautiful. Those small acts really show the principle. So, okay, for someone in school, dealing with friends, maybe even disagreements, how does this gentle touch work in practice? Like, what if you need to give feedback, but you don't want to hurt someone's feelings?
Good question. It means consciously choosing gentleness and respect no matter who you're talking to or what their background is. It means thinking about your words. Do they heal or do they harm?
Hmm.
And if you have to give feedback, you do it constructively, kindly, without crushing their spirit. It's about making things easy for people when you can, not adding difficulties.
And specifically with parents.
Ah, yes. With parents, it's huge. Speaking politely, never being harsh or saying like the Quran mentions, helping them out, looking after their reputation and things.
And this kindness extends beyond family, too.
Oh, absolutely. To friends, neighbors, being helpful, considerate. If a neighbor needs a hand with something, you offer. Simple things, too, like not being excessively noisy, keeping shared spaces clean.
Right. Basic consideration.
Exactly. And to animals, again, showing mercy, never being cruel, and importantly, being kind to yourself, too, taking care of your body, your mind. They're a trust from Allah.
You mentioned the Prophet, peace be upon him, showed special care for the vulnerable. I remember hearing about his concern for orphans.
Yes, incredibly so. He made this gesture, raising his index and middle finger together, and said, I will be like this in Jannah with the person who takes care of an orphan, showing that closeness
Wow.
and his forgiveness. Just amazing. After everything he went through in Mecca, years of persecution, when he returned victoriously, he just pardoned everyone, told them, go, for you are free.
That level of mercy after so much suffering, it's hard to fathom.
It really is. And that spirit connects to compassion. It means feeling for others, empathy, and then acting to help ease their suffering,
Yeah.
helping those in need, being generous.
Okay.
The Prophet, peace be upon him, described the believers beautifully. The believers in their mutual kindness, compassion, and sympathy are like one body. When one part of the body suffers, the whole body responds.
Like with a fever or staying awake.
Exactly. So when someone in your community or even far away is hurting, you feel it, and you're moved to try and help.
Okay, so we've covered truth, trust, kindness, compassion. But life throws curveballs. Okay. Even when you're trying your best, there are going to be frustrations, tests. How do you build the resilience for that?
Ah, yes. That's where inner strength, patience, and self-restraint become so vital. They're like your anchor.
Patience or saber?
Oh,
It's more than just waiting, isn't it?
much more. It's not passive waiting. It's an active spiritual quality. It's about how you react during difficulty. It's the strength to turn frustration into maybe an opportunity for growth, to choose a response guided by faith instead of just lashing out.
Okay.
It includes persevering and doing good, obeying Allah even when it's tough, and being patient in how you deal with people. Think about the Prophet, peace be upon him, how patient he was, inviting people to Islam, never forcing, always gentle.
So for someone listening,
Uh,
maybe think about when your internet is crawling.
yes. Perfect example.
Or a game is taking forever to load. Or you're getting annoyed with a sibling or a friend. How does patience help right then?
In those moments, Saber helps you stay calm, think clearly. Instead of just reacting, blowing up, it encourages you to breathe, maybe reflect, trust in Allah's timing.
Right.
The Quran gives such comfort here. Surah al-Baqarah says, O you who have believed, seek help through patience and prayer. Indeed, Allah is with the patient.
Allah is with the patient. That's powerful.
It is. That presence is the ultimate source of strength.
Okay, so patience is one part of inner strength. Then there's self-restraint.
Yeah.
In today's world, with temptations everywhere, That feels like a real superpower.
It absolutely is. Self-restraint is about controlling those impulses, desires, emotions, but specifically for Allah's sake.
Like what?
Like lowering your gaze from something inappropriate or biting back an angry comment when someone really pushes your buttons. The Prophet, peace be upon him, actually defined strength this way. He said, "The strong is not the one who overcomes the people by his strength, but the strong is the one who controls himself while in anger."
So strength is self-control.
Exactly. And he even promised paradise for those who avoid anger. Do not become angry and you will have paradise. It's about choosing your response, not just reacting. Making choices for long-term good, not just short-term satisfaction.
Okay, so we've built up this inner foundation, truth, kindness, patience, self-control. How do we now apply that outwards, especially to the key people in our lives? Let's talk about honoring connections, respect for parents, elders, and others.
Right. Respect is absolutely fundamental in Islam. It holds society together, builds strong families and communities.
Respect for parents is huge, right?
Immense. The Quran is so clear. Surah Al-Isra, verse 23. Your Lord has commanded that you should worship none but him and show kindness to your parents. Whether one or both of them reach old age while with you, say not to them so much as uff, and do not rebuke them, but always speak gently to them.
Not even uff. That's such a small sound, but it shows the level of respect required.
Exactly. And the Prophet, peace be upon him, taught, the pleasure of the Lord lies in the pleasure of the parents. The anger of the Lord lies in the anger of the parents.
Wow. So how you treat your parents is directly linked to your relationship with Allah.
Directly. It's one of the most beloved deeds right after praying on time. It's a core part of faith in action.
So, okay, you're growing up, maybe wanting more independence. How do you show that gratitude and respect in practice, especially if you disagree on things sometimes, generational gaps and all that?
It means making a conscious effort to be grateful, seeking their advice, even if you ultimately choose a different path sometimes, speaking politely, always, helping out around the house without being asked constantly, guarding their reputation. It's about honoring the sacrifices they made.
Makes sense. And beyond parents, Islam also teaches respect for elders and teachers. Why is that important?
Well, elders, they carry wisdom, life experience. Their guidance can be invaluable. And teachers, they dedicate themselves to your education, helping shape your future.
Right.
The Prophet, peace be upon him, modeled this balance, being kind to younger people, consulting them, but also showing deference and respect to elders.
So for someone listening, this translates to, like, really listening when older people speak, being polite.
Yes. And with teachers, paying attention in class, doing your work properly, asking thoughtful questions that shows respect for their effort.
Okay. And respect isn't just for people, right?
Yeah.
It extends to how we behave in shared spaces and respecting others' privacy.
Definitely. Things like not spying on people, not backbiting, which we'll get to, not just barging into someone's home without permission. Even in gatherings, making space for others to sit comfortably, it's all part of showing consideration.
And that's so relevant. School hallways, the mosque, parks, how you act affects everyone. And privacy, especially online, it feels like it's constantly under threat.
It does. So applying this is being mindful. Keep shared places clean, don't litter, watch your noise levels, and definitely avoid gossip and spreading rumors, whether it's face-to-face or online.
Right.
Everyone has a right to their privacy and their good name. We need to protect that.
Okay, moving from respect to something really beautiful. The beauty of giving, generosity and sharing. Islam really encourages being generous with whatever Allah has given us.
It really does. Whether it's time, knowledge, skills, possessions. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, was the embodiment of generosity, Jude.
How so?
Well, they say he never turned anyone down if he had something to give. There's even a story where someone asked for the actual cloak he was wearing.
And he gave it.
He took it off and handed it over, just like that. He also accepted gifts graciously, even very small things like a bit of milk or a sheep's foot. And he'd always try to give back something better. His generosity was just immense.
That's incredible. So for a young person listening, generosity isn't just about writing a check, right?
Not at all. It's much broader. Sharing your time to help someone study, using your skills to volunteer, offering a smile and kind words.
Yeah.
Absolutely. The Prophet, peace be upon him, said, even a good word is considered charity. Giving purifies you, purifies your wealth, and earns Allah's blessings because you're acknowledging it all comes from him anyway.
Okay. And there's a balance here too, isn't there? Islam also warns against miserliness and waste.
Yes, very important. It encourages generosity, but also mindful consumption. Gratitude for what you have, so avoiding both stinginess on one hand and extravagance or wastefulness on the other.
So we should think about like how much food we waste.
Right.
We're buying stuff we don't really need.
Exactly. Being mindful of waste is actually a form of showing gratitude to Allah for his blessings, and it helps ensure resources are there for those who genuinely need them.
Our words.
Yeah.
They have so much power, don't they? They can build people up, heal, or really, really hurt.
Yeah.
Islam puts a huge emphasis on this, on words that build good speech.
It does. And the Prophet, peace be upon him, gave us such a clear, powerful guide for this. He said, "He who believes in Allah and the last day should either speak good or keep silent."
Speak good or keep silent. That's simple but profound.
Covers everything, doesn't it?
Yeah. It's tough, though, especially online or in the heat of the moment. That advice to pause and ask, is this good? Is it helpful before you type or speak?
It can save you so much regret. If the answer is no, silence is often the better option.
And Islam is really strict about harmful speech, right? Things like backbiting, slander, gossip.
Extremely strict. The Quran uses this incredibly strong image for backbiting, saying it's like eating the flesh of your dead brother. That's from Surah al-Hujurat.
Wow. That really paints a picture of how ugly it is.
It does. It emphasizes the severity. Sarcasm, mocking people, insults, all strongly discouraged.
And this is so relevant for young people. In school, with friends, online. It's so easy to slip into gossip or making fun of someone. But we need to remember how deeply words can wound, how they damage relationships.
Absolutely. So the alternative is consciously choosing the power of encouragement in du'as.
Okay.
Use your words to lift people up. Give genuine compliments. Make dua, pray for them. The Prophet, peace be upon him, was known for always smiling, having a good sense of humor, but always kind, always bringing joy and comfort with his words.
So our voices can actually be a source of strength for others. That's a nice thought. A kind word is charity, using your voice for good.
Exactly. Spread positivity.
Okay, last chapter, but definitely not least. Inner and outer beauty. Cleanliness and humility. This is about how we carry ourselves, how we see ourselves.
Right. Akhlaq covers both the internal and the external. Islam puts a lot of emphasis on cleanliness, both physical and spiritual.
So personal hygiene, keeping your room tidy, dressing modestly but still nicely.
Yes, all of that. Personal hygiene, keeping your surroundings clean, dressing appropriately. The Prophet, peace be upon him, famously said, "Cleanliness is half of faith."
Half of faith, that's significant.
It really is. It's part of our spiritual state, how we present ourselves to the world and to Allah.
So for you listening, taking care of your body, your space, it reflects self-respect, respect for Allah's blessings. And honestly, it just makes you nicer to be around.
True. And then there's the inner aspect. Humility or tawadu.
Okay, what does that mean exactly?
Humility is basically recognizing that all the good you have, all your talents, blessings, it all comes from Allah. It's the opposite of arrogance.
Right.
The Prophet, peace be upon him, despite his incredibly high status, was the most humble person. He'd accept invitations from anyone, rich or poor, slave or free. He was accessible, and he gave a really serious warning. He who has in his heart an ant's weight of arrogance will not enter Jannah.
An ant's weight. That shows how serious arrogance is viewed.
Very serious. It's a barrier to paradise.
Okay, but in a world that kind of pushes self-promotion, look at me, how do you practice humility without, like, putting yourself down or hiding your abilities? What does that look like for a young person?
Great question. It's not about false modesty or denying your skills. It's about the source. Recognizing that your intelligence, your talents, your successes, they're gifts from Allah. That recognition is strength.
So practically.
Practically, it means being open to feedback, even criticism, admitting when you make a mistake gracefully, seeking forgiveness when you need to. It keeps your ego in check and helps you connect better with people.
Okay, wow. We've covered a lot. Truth, kindness, patience, respect, generosity, good speech, cleanliness, humility. These prophetic teachings on akhlaq, on manners. What really strikes me is how relevant they still are.
Yeah.
They aren't just old stories. They're timeless principles for like every part of life.
Absolutely.
And it's clear that building good character isn't like flipping a switch. It's a journey, right?
Yeah.
It needs constant effort, practice, reminding yourself.
Exactly. It's a continuous journey. And the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, is truly the ultimate guide, the best role model. By really trying to live these qualities, his truthfulness, kindness, patience, respect, generosity, good speech, cleanliness, humility, you're not just following his sunnah, his way.
You're becoming a better version of yourself.
The best version. the person Allah created you to be.
And thinking bigger picture, your actions, your character,
Yeah.
that's your legacy, in a way.
It really is.
By living with these noble manners, you become like a positive example of Islam. You can actually help build bridges, create understanding and respect with people around you.
Beautifully put. Keep learning, keep practicing, keep striving.
So as you go about your day to day, maybe just think about this. How will your everyday actions, your character, how will you be a source of light and goodness in your world?
Please don't forget to subscribe and like the video if you found it useful. Thank you for your support.